July 25, 2025. Badiraguato, Sinaloa, Mexico. A legendary cartel kingpin, Ismael Mayo Zambada, is suddenly arrested at a private ranch. Within hours, a brutal war erupts between his followers and the sons of El Chapo. Lifelines are severed. Police say over 1,600 people were killed, thousands disappeared. Bodies dumped in the streets. This isn't fiction. This is the inner collapse of Mexico's most powerful drug empire. Subscribe to MysteryPlaybacksSeries.com and watch to the end, because the truth is bloodier than legend. July 25, 2025. Badiraguato, Sinaloa, Mexico. The sun had just begun to rise above the hills of Badiraguato. In the sleepy countryside, mist clung to the trees like secrets. Roosters crowed. Coffee brewed. And the people of Sinaloa were waking to what felt like a normal morning. But deep inside a private ranch, hidden behind high walls and armed guards, something historic was happening. Mexico's most wanted cartel leader was about to fall. Ismael Zambada Garcia, known as El Mayo. A shadow figure. A ghost in government files. A man who had led the Sinaloa Cartel for more than 30 years. He had never been arrested before. Not once. Not even during the rise of his closest ally, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. But this morning, July 25, 2025, all of that changed. At 5:47 a.m., a convoy of black military trucks rolled quietly into the dirt roads of Badiraguato. On board, Mexican Marines, trained by USDA advisors, armed with intelligence just days old. Drones hovered in the sky. The ranch was asleep, or so they thought. But the man inside was El Mayo, and he was never truly caught off guard. Gunfire erupted. Explosions ripped through the trees. Marines stormed the compound as security guards fired back, rifles cracking through the silence. After 13 minutes of chaos, a voice came through the radio. "We have him. Mayo is in custody." It was official. The last untouchable drug lord of the old era had been touched. By 8:12 a.m., Mexico's President Jesus Pina was on live TV. "We confirm the arrest of Ismael Zambada Garcia," he said with stern pride. "This is a victory against the drug lords who poison our country." But while the government celebrated, Sinaloa did not. In the streets of Culiacan, people stopped what they were doing. Phones buzzed. Radios screamed. And within minutes, panic began. People remembered what happened in 2019, when the military arrested El Chapo's son and was forced to release him after the city was torched by cartel gunmen. Would this be the same, or worse? Inside the Sinaloa Cartel, phones were already ringing. Not with congratulations, but with threats. You see, El Mayo was not just a drug lord. He was a balancer. He kept rival factions from tearing each other apart. And now that he was gone, two sides stood ready for war. Los Chapitos, the sons of El Chapo Guzman. Los Mayistas, old loyalists still faithful to El Mayo. They had tolerated each other, barely. But now there was no one left to keep the peace. In whispers and warnings, the message became clear. Get ready. We're going to war. At 9:22 a.m., in a busy intersection in Navalato, four black trucks surrounded a silver SUV. Inside the SUV, Mario del Cuervo Godoy, a known enforcer tied to the Chapitos. The windows shattered. Dozens of rounds fired. When police arrived minutes later, only smoke and bodies remained. That was the first kill. And it would not be the last. By midday, 23 people had already died. By midnight, more than 80 were confirmed dead, most of them cartel affiliates. And this was day one. This is a real story. Every fact you hear is public. You can check it yourself. If real-life mysteries leave you breathless, subscribe now to MysteryPlaybacksSeries.com. Because the truth that truly haunts might be closer than you think. Sinaloa State, Mexico. July 26 to 29, 2025. July 26, 2025. Sinaloa did not sleep. Not that night. Not the next. Explosions echoed in the hills. Gunfire lit up the sky like fireworks, but no one was celebrating. Los Chapitos, angry and ambitious, were striking fast. They believed El Mayo's arrest had been an inside betrayal. They wanted revenge. And not just on police, but on El Mayo's old men. In Culiacan, safe houses were blown up. In Mazatlan, a convoy of armored trucks shot up a rival nightclub, 14 dead. Bodies were dumped on roads, messages carved into their backs with knives. One note read, "Los Mayistas are done. This is Chapito country now." But the worst part? Civilians were trapped in the middle. In Navolato, a bus full of students was hijacked. No one knows what happened to them. Some say they were used as human shields. Others say worse. A young woman named Daniela Martinez, 22, recorded a video from inside her home. She whispered, "They are outside, shooting at anyone who moves. We are hiding under the bed. Please, God." That was the last thing she posted. Her family found her 2 days later. She had been killed by a stray bullet through the window. The Mexican military declared a lockdown. Curfews. Checkpoints. Surveillance drones. But it was too late. In one chilling scene, officers at a checkpoint were ambushed by cartel trucks. The video, posted to Telegram, showed police running as flames swallowed their vehicles. One survivor said, "We don't know who the enemy is anymore. They wear uniforms just like us." Some cops quit. Others were paid off. Even Mayor Cristina Ojeda of Culiacan gave a speech. "We are asking the federal government for more help. We have lost control." On the cartel side, things were even worse. One of El Mayo's nephews, Yvonne Zambada, was kidnapped and executed by Chapito gunmen. They tied him to a chair, filmed his last moments, and leaked it online. The caption said, "This is for siding with ghosts." At the same time, Chapito allies were being gunned down in daylight. Restaurant shootings. Ambushes at soccer fields. Even funerals turned into bloodbaths. By July 29th, the death toll had passed 290 people in 4 days. Unofficial estimates say it could be double that. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that government officials were negotiating with both sides. Not to stop the war, but to protect themselves. The Mexican president gave another TV speech. "We will not tolerate violence. We are investigating those responsible." But on the streets, no one believed it. A journalist from El Universal posted, "This isn't a war on drugs. This is a war for power, and we are the bodies in between. This is not fiction. Every detail is part of a real case that you can verify yourself." August 2025. Across Sinaloa, Mexico, and spilling across borders. By early August 2025, the headlines crossed borders. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, Univision. Mexico's drug war becomes cartel civil war. Over 1,000 dead in 10 days as cartel battle escalates. Tourists cancelled trips. Businesses shut down. Parents pulled kids out of school. The US issued a level for travel warning for all of Sinaloa and surrounding states. In Washington, the DEA held a press conference. The arrest of El Mayo has revealed a power vacuum in the Sinaloa Cartel. And what we're seeing now is a war for the crown. But behind that war were stories that never made it to the news. On August 3rd, representatives from both sides met in the mountains of Durango. The goal, broker a ceasefire. They drank coffee, shared bread. They even signed a written agreement, no more killings until territories were redrawn. But for hours later, A convoy carrying 2 Chapito commanders was ambushed in the jungle outside Kosala. Explosives tore through the lead vehicle. Screams echoed into silence. No survivors. And just like that, the truce was dead. "You sign peace with one hand," a Mayista voice message said, "and stab with the other." By August 7th, the killings got more personal. Lawyers, judges, journalists, even accountants tied to the cartel started disappearing. In Guasav, a man named Raul Pina, who once managed El Mayo's offshore accounts, was found dead in a bathtub, wrist slit. His wife swore. He didn't do this to himself. They came in the night and made it look like suicide. The local coroner ruled it a natural death. But the people knew better. "The war isn't just with guns now," whispered a cartel source. "It's with bank accounts, records, secrets." Inside the Zambada family, there was betrayal. One of El Mayo's own grandsons, Andres, was discovered giving information to the DEA. He thought he could walk away clean. He was wrong. On August 12th, his body was found in a cornfield outside La Cruz. Eyes open. Mouth stuffed with a torn US flag. Pinned to his shirt, a note. "You don't rat on family." Andres was just 19 years old. As the weeks dragged on, people got used to the sound of gunfire. Used to seeing barricades, burnt-out trucks, soldiers on rooftops. Kilayakan, once alive with color and music, was now a ghost city. Shops boarded up. Churches empty. Streets silent. One priest told El País, "We bury 5 people every day. Some with names. Some with none. This is a real story. Every name, every death, every detail can be verified. Because in Mexico, truth doesn't just disappear, it gets buried." Subscribe now to at MysteryPlaybacksSeries.com, because the next truth might be the one no one wants to hear. August 13th to 20th, 2025. On the morning of August 13th, at 5:42 a.m., Mexican Special Forces launched a raid. The target, a hidden ranch in the Sierra Madre Mountains, believed to be the base of Ivan Guzman, the eldest Chapito son. Helicopters flew low. Soldiers dropped down with masks and rifles. It was supposed to be clean. Silent. Surgical. Instead, it became a massacre. Booby traps exploded in the trees. One soldier was flung into the air, his body never recovered. Others were picked off by snipers hiding in the tree line. Of the 38 soldiers sent in, only 17 came out. It was the worst government loss in the war so far. The next day, August 14th, something changed everything. A 2-minute video began spreading on WhatsApp, Twitter, and Telegram. In it, a man, handcuffed and crying, sits in front of cartel flags. He wears a blooded police uniform. He says, "I was told to stand down. We were not supposed to arrest Ivan. Our orders were to turn around if we saw him. They let him go. They let them all go." The video cuts out. Within hours, it goes viral. Even international news stations replay the video. CNN's headline reads, "Mexican police allowed Chapitos to escape." In Mexico City, protests explode. People chant, "Quien manda, el narco o el estado?" Who rules us, the state, or the cartel? A woman holds up a sign with her dead son's photo. Killed by bullets. Buried by silence. The president gives another speech. "We will investigate. Justice will be served." But no one believes him anymore. In a shocking twist, August 16th, 2 high-ranking Chapito lieutenants are gunned down in Mexico City. Not by rivals, but by their own men. One of them, Marco Cheldogo Rivera, was allegedly planning to flip sides and join El Mayo's old network. His body was found in a warehouse. Shot 22 times. A single word spray-painted above him. Traitor. This moment shifts the war. Now, even Chapito insiders are afraid. No one is safe. No loyalty is real. The cartel is eating itself alive. Families start leaving Sinaloa by the hundreds. Some walk with bags and babies. Others drive for days without stopping. One man tells Televisor, "We lived through narco rule before. But this is different. This is chaos with no king." The highways are filled with abandoned cars, burned trucks, soldiers at checkpoints. By August 20th, entire towns like Badiraguato and Cosala are half empty. Schools shut down. Hospitals run out of supplies. Local officials resign and flee with their families. Sinaloa is bleeding. Official government toll: 1,209 confirmed dead. 300 plus disappeared. Over 9,000 displaced. Unofficial estimates? Much higher. Unofficial estimates? Much higher. The cartel war has now lasted for weeks. And the final act is approaching. This is not fiction. Every face, every loss, every act of silence is real. You can verify the facts. And if you think this couldn't happen near you, think again. August 21st to September 1st, 2025. The full moon shined over Navalato. People were sleeping. Or trying to. By 2:17 a.m., the sound of heavy gunfire shattered the dark. A convoy of armored trucks drove into the town. Men wearing black masks and body armor stormed the homes of 5 rival lieutenants. Not one survived. Neighbors hid under beds. Children clutched their mothers, crying in silence. One witness whispered, "They moved like ghosts. No faces. No names. Only fire and death." By dawn, 14 bodies lay in the street. Each chest marked with a crude white X, the signature of the Chapito's purge team. But inside their own house, things were crumbling. August 23rd. One of Ovidio Guzman's closest men, known as El Rulo, did something no one expected. He leaked a video to a US-based journalist. In it, proof that the Guzman brothers had arranged to sacrifice a rival commander to the military, just to buy time. The video was clear. The faces were unmistakable. The betrayal was undeniable. Within 48 hours, El Rulo was found dead, burned inside his car. On August 25th, El Mayo's name resurfaced. A private funeral was held in Durango. Few attendees. Closed casket. Word spread fast. El Mayo Zambada is dead. But the war lives on. But to this day, no body, no photo, no confirmation. Only whispers. Some say it was a fake funeral, a tactic to disappear forever. Others believe he died weeks earlier, and this was the final cover-up. Either way, the last pillar of the old Sinaloa order was gone. At a private airbase outside Culiacan, armored SUVs arrived under tight security. Inside, government agents, US DEA representatives, and a lawyer representing the Guzman brothers. The meeting was short. They are willing to lay down arms, but only under terms. No US extradition. No prison time. Only exile and asset protection. The response? Unacceptable. And just like that, the war had no off-ramp. As of today, Culiacan remains locked down. Thousands are missing. And the cartel has no single ruler. The Chapitos fight each other. The military fights shadows. And the people? They survive. In fear. In silence. A mother sits at the grave of her 15-year-old son. She lights a candle. Clutches his photo. They said he was in the wrong place. But when there's war all around, where is the right place? Have you heard this story before? What do you think truly happened behind the silence and blood? If you're drawn to real stories that stay with you, Subscribe now to at MysteryPlaybacksSeries.com. Because every week, we reveal the darkest truths hiding in plain sight. Watch the next video on your screen, or dive into our full playlist of real mysteries and crimes. The next story might be even more shocking.